A world divided, the Berlin Wall as a symbol of the Cold War. The Berlin Wall stood as a stark symbol of a world divided. It was a physical manifestation of the ideological struggle between the capitalist West and the communist East. For almost 3 decades, this concrete barrier sliced through the heart of Berlin, a city emblematic of the broader Cold War tensions. Its presence served as a constant reminder of the political and ideological gulf separating East and West. The wall's fall in 1989 marked a pivotal moment in history, signaling not just the end of the Cold War, but also the dawn of a new era. The Berlin Wall's legacy extends far beyond its physical presence. It became synonymous with oppression, division, and the suppression of freedom. The wall's existence had a profound impact on the lives of millions, separating families, stifling dreams, and curtailing basic human rights. Its demolition, therefore, resonated deeply with people worldwide, inspiring hope for a future free from the constraints of Cold War divisions. The events of November 9, 1989 sent shockwaves across the globe. Images of ordinary citizens dismantling the wall with hammers and chisels, of East and West Berliners embracing after decades of separation. These images became powerful symbols of liberation and the indomitable human spirit. The fall of the Berlin Wall demonstrated the power of peaceful protest and the universal yearning for freedom. The collapse of this imposing barrier ushered in an era of profound change. It paved the way for German reunification, the dismantling of the Soviet Empire, and the spread of democracy across Eastern Europe. The Berlin Wall's demise serves as a testament to the idea that even the most seemingly insurmountable obstacles can crumble in the face of unwavering human determination and the pursuit of liberty. Shattered concrete, shattered ideologies, the fall and its global significance. The fall of the Berlin Wall on November 9, 1989, was more than just the dismantling of a physical barrier. It was the shattering of an ideology. The wall had for decades represented the stark divide between the communist East and the capitalist West. Its sudden and unexpected collapse sent ripples of change throughout the world, marking a turning point in history and the beginning of the end for the Cold War. The event resonated far beyond the borders of Germany. For people living under repressive regimes across Eastern Europe, the fall of the Berlin Wall provided a beacon of hope and inspiration. It demonstrated that even the most entrenched and seemingly invincible systems of control could be overcome. The wall's demise emboldened citizens in countries like Czechoslovakia, Poland, and Romania to challenge their own communist governments, ultimately leading to a wave of peaceful revolutions that swept across the region. The global significance of the Berlin Wall's fall can also be seen in its impact on international relations. The event marked a decisive shift in the balance of power, signaling the decline of the Soviet Union and the triumph of Western liberal democracy. It paved the way for a new world order, one in which the United States emerged as the sole superpower, and the threat of nuclear war between East and West receded. The fall of the Berlin Wall serves as a powerful reminder that historical change can happen quickly and unexpectedly. It highlights the importance of individual actions and the power of collective will in shaping the course of history. The events of that momentous day in November 1989 continue to inspire hope for a more peaceful and interconnected world, reminding us that even the most formidable barriers, both physical and ideological, can be overcome through courage, determination, and a shared desire for freedom. Carving up a continent, Germany and Berlin in the aftermath of World War II. The seeds of the Berlin Wall's construction were sown in the ashes of World War II. Germany, defeated and devastated, found itself at the mercy of the victorious Allied powers. The country was divided into 4 zones of occupation, controlled by the United States, Great Britain, France, and the Soviet Union. Berlin, though located deep within the Soviet zone, was similarly partitioned, becoming a microcosm of the broader division. This division of Germany and Berlin reflected the emerging geopolitical realities of the post-war world. The wartime alliance between the Western Allies and the Soviet Union quickly dissolved into suspicion and mistrust. Ideological differences, particularly concerning the future of Eastern Europe, fueled growing tensions between the former allies. This burgeoning rivalry, which came to be known as the Cold War, would define international relations for the next 4 decades. In the immediate post-war years, the United States and its Western European allies sought to rebuild Germany and integrate it into the Western sphere of influence. They implemented the Marshall Plan, a massive economic aid program that helped revive the West German economy and foster closer ties with the West. The Soviet Union, meanwhile, pursued a different course in its zone of occupation. They imposed a communist system on East Germany, nationalizing industries and collectivizing agriculture. Berlin, divided and situated precariously within Soviet-controlled East Germany, became a focal point of Cold War tensions. The city served as a stage for numerous confrontations between East and West, each side vying for influence and control. The construction of the Berlin Wall in 1961 marked a dramatic escalation of this conflict, solidifying the division of the city and symbolizing the growing chasm between the capitalist West and the communist East. Section 4, a tale of two cities' life on opposite sides of the Iron Curtain in Berlin. The division of Berlin created a stark contrast in living conditions and opportunities for its citizens. West Berlin, supported by the Western Allies, emerged as a vibrant cosmopolitan city, a showcase for the successes of capitalism and democracy. East Berlin, under Soviet control, became a stark contrast, characterized by economic stagnation, political repression, and a pervasive sense of isolation. West Berliners enjoyed freedoms unheard of in the East. They had access to a free press, multiple political parties, and the right to travel freely. West Berlin's economy flourished, fueled by investment from West Germany and the United States. The city became a magnet for artists, intellectuals, and those seeking refuge from communist rule in Eastern Europe. Life in East Berlin was drastically different. The communist government controlled all aspects of life, from the economy to the media to education. Citizens faced constant surveillance by the Stasi, the East German secret police, and dissent was ruthlessly suppressed. The economy lagged behind the West, with shortages of consumer goods and limited opportunities for advancement. The disparity in living standards between East and West Berlin became increasingly apparent. West Berlin's economic prosperity stood in stark contrast to the relative poverty of the East. The glittering lights and bustling streets of West Berlin served as a constant reminder to East Berliners of the opportunities denied to them by the wall that divided their city. This stark contrast in living conditions fueled resentment and discontent among East Berliners, contributing to the growing pressure for change that would eventually culminate in the wall's demise. Section 5. The wall arises, stopping the flow and dividing a city. The construction of the Berlin Wall in 1961 marked a dramatic escalation of the Cold War. Overnight, a city and its people were divided by a barrier of barbed wire and concrete, a stark symbol of the ideological struggle between East and West. The wall's immediate purpose was to stem the tide of East Germans fleeing to the West, but its implications extended far beyond simply controlling borders. The decision to build the wall was a direct response to the growing exodus of East Germans to the West. Between 1949 and 1961, an estimated 2.5 million East Germans, dissatisfied with communist rule and seeking better opportunities, fled to West Berlin, which remained relatively easy to access. This mass exodus, known as the brain drain, deprived East Germany of skilled workers and professionals, embarrassing the East German government and threatening the viability of its socialist state. On the night of August 12, 1961, East German troops, under orders from Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev, began sealing off the border between East and West Berlin. Barbed wire fences were erected, streets were torn up, and concrete blocks were hastily put in place. The construction of the wall proceeded rapidly, catching many citizens by surprise. Families and friends were separated overnight, their lives irrevocably altered by this brutal act of division. The construction of the Berlin Wall had profound consequences for both East and West Berlin. For East Germans, it meant increased isolation, heightened repression, and the loss of hope for a better future. For West Berliners, it served as a constant reminder of the oppressive nature of the communist regime on their doorstep, and the fragility of freedom in a world divided by Cold War tensions.